let's dive into that Pac-12 a little bit more. And I have an opportunity to finally talk about this team. Colorado ranked number 19 in the entire country. They will be taking on the number 10 ranked Oregon Ducks at home at Autzen Stadium. Big test for Colorado, because certainly there has been a hype train built up on this Colorado team. A Colorado team, mind you, that went 1-11. And I'm sure that we saw this in the Colorado State game. We saw a kind of a goalpost move of expectations. We did see that after they won their first couple of games against TCU and Nebraska as well, barely surviving against Colorado State. Some people going in talking about how they shouldn't have even been in that position in the first place. Because, guys, remember, this team won one game last year. This was, to many people, the worst team in the Power Five. And now Colorado, first year with Deion Sanders, prime time, has Colorado ranked number 19 in the country. 19th. And got them on making them must-watch TV. I mean, guys, you want to talk about a turnaround at Colorado from a cultural perspective. I mean, we're talking about a record setter in terms of number of eyeballs that were watching a game that didn't end until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. A game that starts at 10:30. Who would have thought? Who would have thought Colorado would have accomplished that? Pepper Ridge Farm remembers. But again, let's not sugarcoat it. This Colorado team is going to need to bring its A game if they want to take down the Oregon Ducks. There hasn't been as much national conversation about Oregon, particularly what Bo Nix has been doing. Been pretty quiet on Bo Nix nationally in terms of Heisman Trophy conversations. But Bo Nix quietly is having a good season too. You know, led the Oregon offense to being one of the most explosive offenses in college football. An offense that's averaging 587 yards a game, mind you. Bo Nix has not turned the ball over as of yet, has nearly 900 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, and in 2 to 3 games, he didn't even complete the games. You know, those games turned into blowouts. The only exception was that Texas Tech game, which, oh boy, that was certainly a battle. It was a trap game in its own right, but Oregon was able to navigate it so far. But this Colorado team knows how to move the ball through the air. And this offense is, the focal point is Shedeur Sanders. Sanders comes in, 1,200 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, has only thrown 1 interception. A third of those yards have come in the fourth quarter and overtime. So you want to talk about what you need to do if you're Oregon. You need to pull away from Oregon. You need to pull away from Colorado as soon as you can. If this is a close game in the fourth quarter, I mean, Shedeur Sanders, he's a dog. That dude can absolutely play. I've watched him play a couple of times so far this year, parts of games, and just the way he throws the football, he just has a beautiful spiral. The kid is just a natural thrower of the ball, and he makes good decisions. He's a very good decision maker, which is really awesome to see. And that's, you know, what you get when you have someone like Primetime as your dad and as your head coach too. It's just been an awesome story. But Sanders is going to have to continue that, right? I have concerns about this Colorado team. One, they can't really run the ball. They're averaging 61 yards a game in their free games, right? So if Sanders struggles through this game, this offense is going to struggle as well. And we saw some of that in the Colorado State game. Had to be an amazing comeback in order for the Buffaloes to remain unbeaten. And at the same time, they're also going to have to find a way to get some stops. That front seven is certainly going to be tested. I thought that front seven was gashed pretty well in the TCU game in particular. Nebraska wasn't really able to take advantage of that mismatch But Oregon is averaging 230 yards on the ground a game. And they got a nice running back in Irving, who's only carried the ball 27 times. He's averaging 9 yards a carry. So that kid can absolutely run the rock. It's a very dangerous backfield at the University of Oregon. We'll take a look at what the line says and what the model says as well. So right now, as of this morning, the line is currently at -21 in favor of the Oregon Ducks. The model thinks that this is going to be a borderline blowout at 29.5 that Oregon is favored by. So what do we think of that? So for me, when I see that, I can't help but think to myself, okay, so do I expect Colorado to win this game? I don't. I do think that's going to be a more entertaining game than what the line says, than what the model is given credit for. I'm going to disagree with the model. I don't necessarily think that this is going to be a blowout. I do think that Oregon is going to win this game. They are at home, and even if they weren't at home, even if it's on a neutral side field, I think Oregon is a better team. But I also don't think that Oregon is going to cover. I think Colorado makes this a more entertaining game, but I feel like Oregon will pull away in the second half, and Coach Prime will be handed his first loss at the FBS level. But you want to talk about surpassing expectations. I actually put a bet slip in back in April, and at the time, Colorado was listed for their over-under at like 4.5 wins. They're well on their way to hitting that, and that was just a brilliant investing strategy at the time. So, and that's coming into fruition, but I don't expect Colorado to win this game. I'm pulling for them, but I do think Oregon wins this one and continues to keep it moving, get to 4-0.